with the GO MRI man. Spread the knowledge. Motivate the people.
What's up, it's Kwame, aka MRI man. Welcome to the show, and today we're going to be going over some MRI safety tips. These tips are very important to me and from my personal experience, so let's just get right into it. Changing your patients. Number one, everyone should do this, but not everyone does this, and it's for a lot of reasons. You know, it's very busy sometimes, and we try to cut corners, do this and that, but you know, from experience of what I've seen, some techs will bring in patients wearing jeans, and you know, with the jeans there could be all kind of pockets, stuff tucked in, and I've seen a pocket knife, you know, slide up someone's, you know, back through their shirt and almost, you know, fly into the machine. So we got to be very cautious of that, and we must always change the patient. Another thing that I've seen is when patients come in with long sleeve cotton shirts, and you're like, okay, that's fine, but then you know, you look under their sleeve and they got like some jewelry on, or they have like a watch on, and I've definitely seen patients get scanned with watches on, and then the watch doesn't work. It'll be like an Apple Watch, or you know, like a real nice watch, and they expect that, you know, we pay for it, or the company pays for it. So be careful with that. You know, if you're not going to change the shirt, the cotton shirt, you got to check the sleeves. Another one is double check with your patient before they enter zone 3 if they have any implants. Even if you have the safety form and it's all nose, go over it once again. You know, ask the patient, do you have any implants? Have you had any surgeries? Any kind of metal objects in your body? You know, just, it takes a couple seconds. Just do that additionally, because a lot of times a patient will be like, oh wait, oh, I do have this, I do have that, because some patients don't read the screening form. Next one is screen everyone that enters zone 3, whether it be doctors, nurses, delivery person, security guards. Anyone entering zone 3 has to be screened prior to entering that area. Also, you should keep note that these doctors or, you know, nurses in zone 3, you know, when they bring a patient or they want to look at some images, you should be aware that at some point they could enter zone 4, you know, the magnetic field. They can be rushing in there to help a patient, and they can have metal objects that'll fly out of their pockets, or they might panic, and you know, if there's a stat, they might run in there with the O2 tank. So that's your area, you know, that's your home, that's your zone, you're in charge, that's the MRI tech. So you got to make sure that these doctors and nurses, you got to tell them like, hey, if you have anything metal in your pockets, you know, please, you know, remove those items, put them in a locker, put them to the side, and let them know, remind them how strong the magnetic field is, because a lot of times they'll forget, they're busy. Be careful with non-responsive and non-cognitive patients that are out of it, dazed out, don't answer questions clearly, don't understand what's really going on. Be careful with these patients. You know, you gotta make sure that they definitely don't have any implants. There's been times where I was brought a patient, you know, from ER or something like that, and just non-responsive patient, and you know, and the safety screening form wasn't filled out either, and I was like, there's no way I can screen this patient, you know, we can't get him in. We needed to get a family member and stuff like that. Turns out the patient did have a pacemaker. So be very careful, man. Be smart. You'll have ER nurses trying to press you, but think of the safety. You don't want anyone to get hurt, harmed, injured. Seems like a simple tip, but don't rush. Make sure everyone is clear going into zone 3, going into the magnetic field. Don't rush it. If you don't have that screening form, do not bring the patient in there. It is not worth it. I've seen techs just rush things, and they'll bring a patient in, and it turns out they weren't supposed to be on, you know, the open magnet. They were supposed to be on the 1.5 closed magnet, and it's this whole ordeal. So you're trying to stay ahead, trying to beat time, but you got to remember, got to stay safe. Another one I learned is that a lot of patients will come in with like piercings and stuff like that, or maybe even some jewelry that they cannot get off. Definitely test them with a magnet, and before they enter zone 3, there's been some cases where I checked some jewelry on somebody's nose and it pulled very hard, and I couldn't imagine those piercings going into the magnetic field, the 3 Tesla. It would have, I don't know what would have happened, could have just pulled out of their face. And last but not least, give the patient the emergency call button. Seems like such a simple thing, but you'll be surprised on how many people forget to give the ball or just decide not to give the ball. I had a situation where I took over a scan, I gave the patient contrast, and the ball was not given to the patient. I decided, hey, I'm gonna give the ball to the patient. Patient's like, what's this? I'm like, hey, squeeze this ball for any emergency. Say, okay, cool. I go in there, start the scan. Sure enough, boop, 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 squeeze the ball. Patient could not breathe, okay? He could barely move. He had barely enough strength to squeeze the ball. He had a severe reaction. So I'm thinking, wow, if I didn't give him the ball, what would have happened? He couldn't breathe. Another thing is, talk to your patients. Are you okay? You doing okay? Don't be on your phone doing this and that. You want to make sure you communicate with your patient, because for so many reasons, man, there can be a patient in there having anxiety attacks, and maybe they're holding still, but they're having panic attacks, difficulty breathing, and sometimes you'll pull them out and they will be mad. They'll be like, why didn't you talk to me? This was going on, that. So communicate with the patient, give them the safety button. So those are my safety tips. If you have any MR safety tips, leave them down below, and check out these crazy MR accident videos. I hope this never happens to anyone, but hey, we gotta respect the magnet. So yeah, check out these pics, like and subscribe, and I'm out.